Hey friends, welcome to Friday Fundamentals. I'm just going to give you a minute because I think I'm like 30 seconds early. My daughter was like, can't you just go on early? Because I've been sitting here waiting, and I'm like, no, when I tell them to, I mean to. So, but I went on just a little bit early, I think. So, give you guys just a minute to get here. I think we are having people join now, so I'm going to get started. Hey Anna, I see you. So today we're going to talk about a lot of things, actually, and I have my list. I want to talk to you guys about realistically distressing, okay? It's kind of a, for me. There's 3 different ways. We're going to talk about that. I wanted to let you know, I know that some of you guys have been waiting and waiting like I have for my order of Dixie Belle transfers and papers to come in. Hi, Katie. They're coming. I have notifications, so it's all in the hands of the shipping gods. So hopefully they will bring it. Update on the shop, you guys. So a lot of you guys know I have a second location now. If you are local, please do stop by 188 West Tuff Street. This month and every month through summer, on the 3rd Saturday, I think it is, on the 3rd Saturday, we are going to, there's like a old car cruise down there. So they're going to stay open late, and it's a lot of fun, and we have a band and all the things. So if you're local or passing through, because we're coming on vacation season and everybody comes here to vacation, stop on by. Okay, and then lastly, I wanted to tell you guys that, hi Danelle, I wanted to tell you guys that Facebook has kind of been messing with the reach on every business owner's page I know. And I just wanted to give you guys an idea of how you can help them. So if you guys have business owner friends and you follow their page, or they give you good information and you get a lot of value from them, like Danelle, she has painted. There's this at the bottom of all the posts. I don't want to say that word because then it'll get zucked, but do that sometimes for your friends. And if you feel you want to spread the love on this video, do that too. So, all right, so you guys, let's get started. So, distressing. Everybody knows what it is. It's making something look older than it actually is. But let's talk about realistic distressing, because distressing should tell a story. And sometimes I see pieces that are just distressed all willy-nilly all over the place. And I mean, if you like that look, I think really people think that that's a distressed look when it's kind of more like a layered look. You could get that same look with layering paints. But distressing should tell a story. So, hi Carla. Distressing should tell a story. Don't make me laugh. And when I'm distressing, I choose my places by thinking about how that area over time could have been distressed. So typically that's outside corners, edges of doors and drawers, places that are going to get a lot of use. You know, did Uncle Bob stick his boots on the bottom of that table every night for 40 years and that's why it's all distressed there? That kind of thing. So there's 3 ways that I distress, and I'm going to talk about those. First of all, I'm only going to show you one because the other ones are kind of self-explanatory. Hi Nancy D. Happy Friday to you too. So the first way everybody does it or has is just with sandpaper. So you paint your piece, you sand along the edges. It can be a little messy depending on how much distressing you want, but it works and it helps with getting that look. Okay, so that's the first one. The second one is what's called a wet distress, and it's not really like wet, but I use a damp rag, and I will do that the same places I'm doing with this. So realistically speaking, the edges, places that are going to get a lot of wear and tear. Not inset panels. Not inset panels of... Oh, you like that? Carla says my shirt is perfect. So everything's backwards. There. But you guys aren't... I knew somebody was going to bring up my shirt. So I wanted you guys to understand there's people and there's people. Okay? You guys are people. These are the ones that are you. But you guys are these. So you're all right. So wet distressing. Carla, stop. Hi, Tara. Okay, so wet distressing. So basically, I just take a clean, damp rag and, oh, good, Pam. Good. I'm glad you hear it. And then I just do it the same way. So where you would normally sand, you just do that with a damp rag. I like to do that when the paint is just barely dry. So a way to tell when paint is totally dry versus it's dry to the touch but still not completely dry is how cool the surface feels. Because think about it. You know, we sweat, and I know that sounds gross, but we sweat as a mechanism to cool down our body temperature. So basically what's happening is we sweat, there's water, sweat on our skin, and as it evaporates, it cools. That's how it works. Well, if you touch your painted surface, Michelle, I will answer you in just a second. If you touch your painted surface with your hand and it still feels really cool to the touch, that means that not all the water that's in it has evaporated out. So it's still cooling, and that's why. So it's not totally dry. Once it gets to that point, if I am going to do a wet distress, that's where I like it, is when it's dry to the touch, but it's still kind of cool. That means that that water is going to reactivate the water that's in your paint, and it's going to make that come off a lot easier. Okay, so Michelle had asked a question, is this less destructive than sanding? And to answer your question, for most people, yes. I can sand very softly, and so, you know, it's either or for me, but it's a lot faster for me to do a wet distress because it does take it off faster. The last way I'm going to show you, because I had so much fun with this. And so I did this table. My in-laws gave me this like sofa table, and it was in bad shape. They had had it for a long time, and it was all wobbly, so I fixed it all, and it just sat in my house for probably a good couple of months, and it was my package shipping table. Like, I'd package up my packages, my orders, and it would sit there until we went down to the post office. And then I got the shop, the new shop, and I just said, you know what, I think I'm just gonna play. I played. So here's what I did. I made it kind of be chippy and worn. And I didn't use milk paint. I didn't have any milk paint. Milk paint's amazing for that. Milk paint is a little bit of a wild child, so you don't know what you're going to get. But this is a really great way to get the chippies where you want them and not have milk if you don't have milk paint on hand. And so I'm going to show you guys. So I always start with a base color. You can totally do this on bare wood, and that's totally fine. But for this, for purposes of this, I'm doing it on a base color because it's going to be easier for you guys to see. So all I did was put sea glass. Everything's backwards for me. So I put sea glass down, and then I top coated it. Okay. So the reason I top coat it is, well, you'll see later when I get all crazy with it. So I top coated it, I let it dry. Now, my friend Danelle, she sent me a package with some gifts in it, and there was one of these tarts. These are the kind of tarts that you put into one of those wax warmers. Smells really good. I don't have a wax warmer. So it's just been sitting here. So when I decided I was going to experiment, I'm looking around my house for something like this, and I see this still sitting in the package right on my counter, and I'm like, bingo. The reason this worked so well is because it's a little on the soft side. But you guys can use like a candle, People use like Vaseline, anything that's going to be a resist that your paint is not going to want to stick to. So, and I use this one and it smells really good. So that's like a win-win. But it is extra soft, so I got to just be a little careful. So you have your painted piece. I very rarely do a whole big piece on a live because I like to be able to show you guys without having to be so way far back, and it's just easier for me to do these on samples. So I did get all of these ready this morning so that it would be, we could just move on instead of having to watch paint dry together. So you have your painted piece, whatever color, or if it's bare wood, whatever. And then you're just going to take your resist, which again can be Vaseline or wax of any kind. Maybe oil would work, I don't know. But I'm using this and it's wax. And you're just going to put it on in places that you might want your paint to chip. Okay, just like that. Now you can see that it's really, really thick. I'm just going to take my finger because it kind of balls up, and I'm just going to kind of rub it in a little bit in those places. And this is one reason why you top coat first, because I don't want that wax going into my porous undercoat. Okay, I did not bring a paper towel, so I guess I'm now getting wax on my pants. It's all right, they're paint pants. So I'm going to get all of these off. So basically, I just have this painted piece with wax spots on it. Now, I'm not doing any rhyme or reason to this one, okay, because, you know, there's no story to tell here. The story is that it's a sample board. I use my sample boards over and over. All right, so that's basically what it looks like. I don't even know if you guys can see. Oh yeah, maybe you can see like that. So you see those areas? Okay, now you're gonna take your top color. For this and for my table, at my new shop, I used Dixie Belle Fluff in white, or in fluff. And y'all, let me tell you something. Don't try this part at home. Okay, I've been using the same brush for 2 days on signs for this. I can't remember what else I've done, but it's got a lot of use and I haven't cleaned it. But it's all been the same color, so we're good. But it's really nasty, so you do you. I'm going to tilt this down so you guys can watch me for just a minute, as long as the phone doesn't fall out. Yeah. Yeah, okay, I think you guys can see that. All right, so now this is what's kind of gross, okay? I'm just going to tell you, when you paint on your outside layer, you're not going to do this whole super thin coat thing, okay? And the reason for that is this is an aged piece. Carla always does this at home too, using her brush over and over. So this is going to be a super aged piece. So the whole like super thin coats is kind of out of the question. If you put it on and then don't overwork it, for those of you who have taken my class, you know that one of my mantras is don't overwork it, okay? Sit on your hands. You're still not going to overwork it. So you're putting this on fairly thick. And a lot of that reason is because you don't want to pull off your resist, okay? Let me see if I can do this. I'm not the most coordinated person, so. And typically I do 2 coats of this right over our resist, so then you have solid white. Now, we're not going to watch paint dry together because that is really boring. We're just going to move on because I have a totally done piece for you guys. I was running a little behind. I lost track of time, and I did my second coat of white not too long ago, so I'm hoping that it's good enough. So Helen says she doesn't know what group she learned this from, but she heard that you can put a brush in the freezer like to hold it over. It says see more, but I know that's what you're saying. And you know what, you can, but I don't, because water-based products, they freeze, and then when they unfreeze, they're just not the right consistency. But if it's just going to be a day or two, then you're good. Yes, Nancy, I have a brand new scrubby soap waiting over there. So, all right, let me get rid of that. So this is the one that I did earlier, and it's a little bit bigger one. And underneath this is, I think I painted this in Haint Blue a long time ago. And so today I top coated it, and I got paint on my table, but that's okay. So I top coated it this morning, let that dry, and then I put my scrubby soap is amazing, Carla. It smells so good. I put my Resist on, and then I did 2 coats of Dixie Belle Fluff. And now, my friends, let me tell you, if you guys, this is like really satisfying. I hope this, I hope this works, because the first time I did it, which was about a week ago, it was the first time I did it, and it worked great, and I'm feeling pretty good about myself right now. But if it doesn't work, then let's just pretend it did, because I know it works. You're gonna grab one of these. It's just a mud spatula, so it's plastic. And the thing is, excuse me, the thing is that, you know, this isn't meant to look like a perfectly smooth finish. It's just not. I did this to make the piece look like it had been sitting outside for a long time, and that's exactly what it looked like. If you saw the graphic from the reminder this morning, you will notice on there that that's a drawer on the piece when I was testing. So I just take this, make sure y'all can see, and I just start scraping. Make sure you can see, and it just starts to chip off. And I don't remember where I put the Resist. I know I didn't do that much, but let's see, you guys can see that. Oop, I'm getting all into it. But see how that just chips off like that? I mean, I really went to town. Let me come over here on my big piece, but it's just kind of chipping off. Don't remember if I did any in the middle, and I think it's still a little wet in the corners. So you just kind of chip, chip, chip. Now, I only did a little bit because you've seen one chip, you've seen them all. But you guys can kind of see where I did it. Now I'm going to tell you, see, it's all chipping off. So if I would have done this like a lot more, like I did on those drawers, it would look a lot older. Then you could glaze it, maybe use some Dixie dirt on it. I think I can chip that a little bit more. So this makes it look like it's chipped off over time. Probably could have stood to be just a little drier. There we go. But that's okay. It's still really cool to the touch. And even the edges, the inside edges in here are still wet. Okay. So, voila. Looks like my paint, whoops. There we go. Looks like my paint has chipped off. I've made a mess. Can you guys see? When I did that table, I did it right here in my dining room, and we were cleaning up paint chips for days. Still not sure if I got them all. So then what I would do is let it dry all the way. Take a dry clean rag, like a paper towel or one of those blue shop towels, and I wipe it down really, really good. Okay, you guys, because I want to get off any of the residue. You can even clean it a little bit, let that dry, and then, let me see if I do this. So you can clean it with, I wouldn't spray right on it, okay? So you're gonna let it dry all the way. You're gonna let it dry all the way. And then you're gonna take a rag, like a blue shop towel, or a paper towel, and you can very, very lightly use like crud cutter will take it off. I use simple green on my table. Any of those things. You could lightly do it with mineral spirits, and then you can top coat it, which is exactly what I did. And it's actually been sitting there. It's been manhandled. It has stuff all over it. The drawers have been opened and closed and slammed. Anybody who has furniture in a shop knows that that's what happens. And that's it. Okay? So that's a really, really great way. You can make it even look older if you wanted to glaze it. Like I said, you could use Dixie dirt, which is, it's kind of like a powdery glaze. You would use wax with that. You could actually do a wax top coat on this, and then you'd be fine. So there's just lots of different ways to be able to do it. You know, with the wax, I don't use wax that often because it's not as durable as a regular top coat, but I could see using it on something like this because we want this to distress even more over time, because I think it would be really, really great. So, great question, Rhonda. Carla says Dixie dirt and wax is really fun. It really is. There's just so many fun things you can do. So anyhow, that is that. Now I will tell you, I was talking about distressing realistically when you're doing the wet distressing or the sandpaper distressing, but if you are distressing with the meaning that perhaps this piece got left out in the rain and it just started chipping, you know, you really could do the inset panel where normally it wouldn't, you know, this would get grabbed. It's just a door. This would get grabbed. These areas, the upper areas would get dinged. This would be more protected because it's down. But if this was a piece and it sat out in the rain, you know, water goes wherever. So you can actually do a little bit more of this if that's the look you're going for than just a distress on a regular piece that's been inside for 50 years. So does that make sense? So I just wanted to tell you guys, first of all, thank you so much for showing up. I hate sitting here talking to myself, and you guys make it so much better, so I do appreciate that. For those of you who have been asking, we're going to be opening up registration for Beginners Clinic probably in the next, today's the 8th, probably in the next week or so. So either keep an eye out on my page, or if you're a member of my group, Furniture Rehab Bootcamp, then keep an eye out in there because I do post about them both. If you are on my mailing list, I will also send out an announcement there when it's open. The last thing I want to tell you guys, for the last few weeks we've been doing this, you guys have been showing up, and I haven't even offered any bundles, and people are always asking me for bundles. So I have a little bundle for you guys today. So what you're going to get is you're going to get 2 8-ounce paints, whatever color you want. I'm going to tell you guys, if a whole bunch of you order the weird colors, I'm not going to have that many. So this is going to be dependent on colors. But if you order normal colors, I have tons. You're going to get an 8-ounce top coat. You are going to get your mud spatula. And last, okay, you guys, these are so hard to get. I've been hoarding them. They're so hard to get, you will notice that I didn't even use one. I haven't used one in a while. I have like 2 that I use regularly. And I want to open another one, but I can't because there aren't that many out there and they're really hard to get. The Dixie Belle Premium Flat Medium Brush. So you're going to get all those things. Regular price is like $67. 60 bucks even. So here's the deal. I only have 5. They're on my website. You will see them. You will see the link up at the top in the description, and I have 5. Okay, because I only have 5 of these. That's all I could get. All right, you guys. So just want to say thank you again. I hope you guys have a great weekend. Don't forget, next week, right here, 2 p.m. on Friday, Pacific time. Bye.